So everybody's waiting, right?
Yeah, we'll start at 7:05.
Yeah, I thought people will do their mathematics with the link and everything. So I thought it's good to wait for another 5 minutes. And I see every minute, there are 3, 4 people joining. So,
So
you know,
so that what I'll do, I'll start a video. I hope by the time people come, that video goes through. It's fine. That's IIT
yeah.
video. Yeah, that's an IIT.
Yeah,
video.
perfect. Then I think that would be fun. Yeah, we can do that.
So a lot of new joinee might not know about it.
Yeah,
So better to start off.
yeah.
So I'll just share my screen. I'll leave the video on. When you want to stop, pause. It's a 5-minute video. So let me know. Okay.
Yeah. So let's do that. Yeah, let's have that 5 minutes video.
I hope all of you have enough bandwidth to get the video and it runs smoothly on your systems. I'll put the video off once I start my video off once I share the screen, right? Okay. So I hope everybody can see and
we can see it, but I'm not sure that we can listen to it or not.
Just a moment.
We can listen. We can. Yeah. Now the sound was coming. Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah.
So that's a 2005 resolution. So bear with it.
कहानी सुन अपना है यही अंदाज यारी दोस्ती और चाहत एक दिन आए घर से दूर चेहरे पर छाया था नूर हम तो अजनबी थे मगर निकले संग राहों पर गिरते और संभलते संग बन गया नया फसाना शरारत है हर पल नए नजारे यहाँ खुशी में झूमे हम कभी देखे सितम यारी ऐसी मिले फिर कहाँ ये नजराना है कुदरत का जाए हम जिस मंजिल पर अपनी है कुछ ऐसी बात रातों को कहे दिन हम चाहे तो बने दिन रात जब तक यारों का हो साथ कभी भी ठहरे ना ये हलचल जैसे भी हालात चलता जाए ये फसाना
Yes,
Must
Siddharth.
have been a nostalgic video for you, Girish.
Yes.
I think it is good to see something after 15 years. Huh?
Yeah. So I think I just wanted to
It,
tell all the new students, this is what we did around 2005. And it's all done by my seniors, juniors, colleagues, my close classmates. And that's part of an assignment. It's not a fun. It's a part of an assignment. Definitely it was a fun.
Is it Art 105?
What?
Is it like Art 105?
I don't remember the number.
Oh,
Satyaki is just obviously.
yeah.
Okay,
all right,
let's
guys.
start. Let's start.
So yeah, so I see a lot of many people joining in, and of course they are students, and I see a lot of alumni also. I just saw Lokesh from my batch, and I actually read a few names which I think are my seniors and juniors in a way.
Yes.
And I'm just guessing because I see Arun's name, etc., etc. So I think so good to see everybody, and it's kind of a reunion happening, and I think we are blessed to have this because of Zoom. So I think the COVID has given us beautiful gift of not flying to Kanpur and then not having a alumni meet physically, but we can have that on a virtual platform. So I think so good to see you, Girish, and thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here and probably be the first one to give the talk. Mrityunjay, it would be great that if you can introduce Girish, and then probably I will talk something on the whole series.
Yeah, sure. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome on board. So, on behalf of Professor Satyaki Roy and everyone, I would like to welcome and thank Mr. Girish for joining us. So, this is our second talk for this 698 series, where we are trying to connect with alumni who can help students to experience and explore design from their perspective and learn from their projects. So Girish is presently a co-founder and director at Design Life. And before we proceed further, Siddharth would introduce about the 698 series, what it is all about.
Yeah, so I think the number series anyway is very confusing to me, but that's the name given to the course. So I think we were talking about the whole idea that as alumni and people who are all pass out from the same college, same program, we have so many things in common, and we have done so much in the last 10-15 years, and it is a good time to now share this to the colleagues, to the seniors, to juniors, and to these students itself. So that is what the whole idea behind. And I remember we going to the industry trip, and then we also getting Yogesh and Prantik as people who will take our workshop. And I think you always have this comfort level with the seniors. That they were there 2-3 years ago, and they were there 5 years ago, and then you have that kind of relationship which you will never get through a faculty or a visiting faculty. You can ask them anything you want to, you can party with them, you can do whatever. And I remember those parties at night after Yogesh and Prantik has taken our workshop, and in the industry trip also. So I think and somewhere I think these exposures, these talks, or this one dialogue kind of define your life somehow. That one exposure, or our one session with the PD6 at Outer Design Factory, or that one talk with Yogesh, or one talk with Prantik, or one conversation with Prantik, would probably in somewhere in my mind must have done a lot of things. So I think that is what the ethos is, that the students here can interact with the seniors, and it is also good that I will get to know what Girish is doing, and then a lot many people will get to know what different people are doing. So that is the aim behind. So and I was calculating that we have around 150 alumni, and if we do this every week, we can go for 3 years. So it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So over to you, Girish. I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
We can start now.
Okay, I was really looking forward to it. I think last year also Conrad or a few of the students at that time tried this. So looking forward to our opportunity. Thank you for popping up my name. And as usual, I put up my hand first and then see what it is. So that's one of the reason you're a designer, is what I feel. I take up a challenge and then see how deep the hole is. Okay, this is not really deep. So what we are going to see is, obviously, I'm going to show you my growth as an industrial designer in last 22 years, actually. I'm passed out 2006, but that design is in back of my mind somewhere down the line from childhood somewhere. So I'm going to take you through quickly through that story, and you may not see a lot of design work in that. You will hear a lot of experience of mine. After that, I'll take you through what we have done as a design lab as a company in last 10 years. And then it will be more of an open discussion with current students and alumni, whatever kind of question you have. So I would love to answer them. We already received two questions from the current students. I really thank them for that. I tried to tune my presentation towards that. So obviously, alumni, please excuse. This is more meant for a new joining student, and that's why the video as well. I understand their plea that they are sitting at home. They haven't visited the campus yet. The course has started, so they will have a lot of questions how to proceed. So I'll start the presentation. I hope I can finish in the next 40 minutes. So I'll share my screen. If you don't see the screen, then do let us know on the top.
Yeah, we can see the screen now.
Do you see a full screen white?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. If anybody has a question why it's full screen white, do ask me later. So I'm starting with the full white screen because obviously you all start blank, and it's not a black screen, it's a white screen. That's also a reason. So design happens for a reason. So 1998, that's when I passed 12th. So you get my age as well now. So sorry for that. I wanted to be an architect, but somehow I missed that chance. Same year, the exam got conducted 2 months earlier with circular notice in newspaper in those days. Internet was not this prevalent and social media was not existing. So I kind of missed the bus. With my 12th result, I went to JJ School of Art and saw there are actual exam results. And then I went to the admin and asked, how come the exam results are out? He said, sir, not sir, at that time, nobody will call me sir, obviously. Mitra Marathit, they said, you are late. And I was so shocked on that day in my life. How did I miss it? There was a senior of mine actually. She has done an architect before. So I was in touch with her. I asked her, how come you didn't tell me? She said, I called you at her home. You know, you were at your native place and enjoying life. So you missed the train. I don't know how did the message didn't reach you that the exam was before, literally a month before you came back. So I said, okay, fine. What next? So anyway, the next was then, how do I become a car designer? Or how do I remain relevant in architect? Because I had a good roots of sketching. I was good at sketching. Always on in love with moving objects, a train or a car or a plane or whatever moves around. So obviously that excites. So said, okay, what next can I do? So that became a mechanical engineer. So that's how I draw a parallel. Very intuitively, all this is happening. And in between that, there also a transition took place. That initially I went to electrical engineering, and somewhere I realized by taking electrical, I may not be so close to architects. So let's go do mechanical engineering. So how naive the mind is, right? So I shifted myself without telling anyone at my family from VGT to Sardar Patel College of Engineering. So there are two of the top colleges in Mumbai here. So even taking that decision itself was a big deal for me. I took it myself. So that was a kind of first decision of my life I took, which was a large, is going to impact my career, right? And I still remember that day. So started doing mechanical engineering. Came 2001. Everybody in my college, out of 66 of us, around 50 of them were preparing for GRE, TOEFL. Everybody was planning to go to MS. Few of them were planning to do MBAs. And I was like, man, if so many of them are already doing it, then why should I also do it? That there's something wrong with the world. So like then I was figuring out what do I need to do. And at the same time, few of us in the college obviously were very excited about making things by hand. So I was good at robotics. I used to make things. We participated in certain competition. I was good at making computers. I was building computers from 1996 around. Till date, I built all my computer myself, by the way. So I never let it happen. Laptop I can't build, sorry. So I'll build that as well, actually, obviously someday. So I was building always. So I was a bit techy, and also I thought, why don't I become a car designer? Because by that time I got a hang of Formula One. I was looking at it from 96, and obviously, let's become a car designer. That looks like much more interesting thing than doing an MBA and going to do MS and learning more of, say, engineering. And then I called up one of my seniors from mechanical engineering who was there. At that time, landline used to work. So I called him up and asked him, I want to become a car designer. What do I do? He said, you need to talk to somebody from this kind of a school and he'll tell you. So I called up that person. He's still on my LinkedIn list and I still talk with him. And he said, you do one thing, you come to something called Design Degree Show at Nehru Center. At that time, Design Degree Show used to happen at Nehru Center. And I went to Nehru Center in around May, it was, I think. And I was so amazed that I realized, man, I just not car. The rest of the things also needs to be designed. And then it dawned upon me, oh, I need to become a designer. Kind of, after visiting that show. What did I do? I passed out as a mechanical engineer. I given a seed NID at that year, attempt 1. I failed both exams. There were 3 of my colleagues in my school, engineering college, and they also given that. One of them passed seed with very low score. Rest all of us rest of failed. We didn't know why. Like fair, okay, we don't know what happened. By the time I learned CAD software, I joined a small company who was into mold making. Again, the intention was to get into something which is close to design. There were a lot of offers for management trainees, software companies. No, we don't want to do that. So we're very crisp in that. We want to do this. Move to a mold making startup. I used to travel 2.5 hours actually just to reach that company. It's very small space. Now they've become big. I still know them. Okay. Then I joined Future Factory from there. So I think most of you must have heard my Future Factory by now. The new students should know Future Factory is one of the leading design house who does world-class level of industrial design or product design. So this is me sitting there in that middle of it, Girish. And these are my colleagues. Some of them are still part of me. Some of them are very close friend of mine. So I started working there as a design engineer. I did a second attempt at seed. I failed again. By that time, I realized there's something wrong happening with me. I asked my bosses. Twice it has happened now. I failed. Then obviously they given me a big gyan list. What's wrong I'm doing? I think one of the student asked is kind of the similar question. What's wrong I'm doing in exam? Why I'm not passing this? Why is it so difficult? By the time I was understanding what is design, I started reading books on design. First book I read was Thinking Design by Professor S. Balram. In the moving local train, by the way, I used to read a lot. Art of Innovation by Tom Kelly. And then third year I passed. By the time I designed a petrol pump, I designed buckets, which eventually went on to become honorable mention in 2009. And a lot of things happened with me. So I passed. I was surprised or thrilled. And I was also amused that I have something called never said attitude kind of thing. I know from childhood I'm very ziddi in a way. I want to do something, I'll do that. It doesn't matter what outcome of it is. So I passed eventually. Came to IIT Kanpur. We were the third batch of students in 2004. I was very skeptical. What would happen here? Because it's a very new school. Processes are not set a lot of time. Courses are not set. Everything is open-ended. And in fact, one of the advice was given to me by Future Factory bosses that, Girish, why are you going there? It's a new school. Work with us for 2 years. You'll learn far more than actually going there. But school is school. Certificates you get at the end of it. It's very important. And in our society, that also is very important to sustain. So obviously, continue here. Came here, but to my surprise, being not so structured also helped us to grow as a designer. We had incredibly supporting seniors and super seniors. At that time, our super seniors just exiting. So first batch, we still are good friends with them as well. So our seniors were obviously very supportive, and then had incredibly creative colleagues. I'll tell you why I'm calling them incredibly creative colleagues. We live like a family and work like a team. That's what I would tell you. We worked on multiples of assignments as a team. Most of the assignment used to be at that time as a team assignments. That's again a challenge now. I know COVID ke saath. We had brilliant faculties. We also had the same faculties continuing. Some of them obviously retired for because of their age, obviously. So a lot of visiting faculties, as Siddharth said, coming across from the world, multiple workshops where we learned a lot. So throughout those 2 years, we learned such a vast varieties of subjects that opened up our mind, that allowed us to absorb design from various contexts. It's very important. Though I wanted to become an industrial designer, I got to learn filmmaking, I got to learn art appreciation, I got to learn a lot of humanities. I went myself to take an elective from industrial engineering department, learn conjoint analysis there, tried to learn German, I couldn't do it. Some of us also tried to learn Japanese, couldn't do it. I'll urge all of you, take one of the language once you come to IIT Kanpur, it'll help you later. So that way it helps us to grow quite a lot. So what did we do? Apart from that, obviously, I was very tech enthusiast. So at that time, 4i Lab was newly open. I hope it's still there and it has grown something and something larger. So they bought some at the same time they bought this water jet machine, and being so curious, I ended up operating that machine and become a sole operator of that machine. If Mr. Professor TVK Gupta was not there, then I'm the only guy who could operate that machine literally. So people used to fetch me in IIT, Girish, you need to come over there. Somebody wants to cut something on water jet machine. So TVK Gupta sir still knows me. I still say hi to him. I also learned Tata 3D printer. You know, my inclination towards technology was very high always. I learned that in IIT Kanpur. I still swear by that. Helped me to understand industrial design better. So I went back to Future Factory, did a summer internship, worked on a refrigerator. It opened up my world again. First time I tried to behave like a designer. I failed miserably there. I went there for 3 months. Out of first 2 months, I was only sketching, and none of my sketches were worthy enough to get into anything. And I realized how bad I am design after 1 year of design school. Though I did contribute to it, the certain part of the fridge is still there, which had a part of my sketches. I still feel proud in that. Our product went on to win a Design Excellence Award that year. And then what we did also was this. Our senior made something called Dinbar Kaam Nahi Aaram, and we made something called Yarana with all my colleagues and juniors and seniors. And that was one very, very fun part of our work. So I would urge all the new students to go and see these 2 videos on online. I think one of the video I shown you, Yarana. So what is IIT in life? You can see summary of it here. And this also allowed, I was a part of production manager in second part. On first part, I was not that involved because मुझे तो physical product design करना है, ये video क्यों बनाना है? So sorry. So that happened in 2005. 2006, I finished my final year project, which was very badly executed. Let's put up a hand that design allows failure. With Professor Dr. Mitre, who was my guide at that time, said, Girish, it's fine if you're failing. You can still submit the thesis, because I was so reluctant to submit thesis that I was not able to crack it. You know, it's very simple now after 15 years of design. I know how simple the design would have been at that time, but I failed my thesis project and I still able to submit it and got a best grades out of it because I honestly shown kind of an efforts to him, and he said, you know, it's fine looking at your attitude and amount of hard work you put, it's fine to submit thesis in that fashion. So first, one more lesson. Design is about iteration, so you'll keep on failing a lot of time. Move to somewhere Bangalore, Tata Elxsi. Going to Tata Elxsi was also kind of making. I asked Tata Elxsi I want to join you. It was not they offered. They offered me somewhere in May, but I didn't pick it up. But I again asked them and created an opportunity and went, and so I sat there. It was very interesting. Though this is a new place, somebody from Tata Elxsi must be there. Alok was ex Tata Elxsi, must be there on a call. So when I used to work at Tata Elxsi in 2006-07, there was a lot of projects at the same time. As a designer, I felt I'm working. I used to work late night quite a lot, multiple projects. Then I started asking questions to my boss. Is this design? This is certainly not a skill job, right? So why I'm working like this, and I don't think design is happening. Then my boss said, okay, if you think you know design, you tell me what you can. Then what I started doing at Tata Elxsi is I started learning about creativity, because I was very impressed by Professor Amresh Chakravarti, who came to one of the workshops during our times in 2005, and he taught us about creativity quite a lot. So I was very amazed by this word, and all the new students will hear this word creativity, design, and innovation so many times. You'll initially get confused. You'll feel sorted out. You'll keep on sorting out till date. I'm still sorting out myself between creativity, innovation, and design. I think Siddharth would also, and most of the alumni as well also. So I did that initiative there. I used to be part of every project because of that, and for only that part of creativity and ideations. So I did that at Tata Elxsi. I worked on a lot of other projects also. I was part of packaging design team. So I worked on biscuits design. Britannia Treat biscuits in around that time was done through. I was part of that team. I worked on Women's Horlicks, Boost, a lot more products actually. And I also used to work on a lot of hands-on model making projects, because I had that skill set somewhere, and my boss also realized, oh, Girish wants to do something which is very, very hands-on and something very different. So I got an opportunity to work on those projects as well. I'm not showing you projects. I'm running through my journey. 2008, I moved out of Tata Elxsi, moved to Pune, and this is the team I joined. This is the picture of when I exited out of that place. So this is the team I worked. Again, you must know more Elephant Strategy Plus Design. Worked, joined there as a senior design, worked with a lot of large clients, Neerlips, VIPs, PepsiCo, Bajaj, Mahindra and Mahindra. So huge difference between that place and this place, I realized. Again, Elephant Design, I initiated and set up a prototyping studio because I wanted to see the. I was handling a team of around 3 people. Yogesh was part of my team actually when he joined a year or two later. So we had a team of around 6 people, and we used to feel we need to have a prototyping space. I walked into the Ashish Deshpande, was the owner. I asked him, Ashish, we need a prototyping studio. He said, okay, Girish, you go and build it. I said, okay, so let's build it. So me and my team built a prototyping studio at Elephant. There's not the picture of it, so obviously it's just a reference picture. We also did one more interesting thing there. We knew how important sketching is for a designer. So me and one of my colleague Mandar, who still sketches very religiously, I don't yet. We started sketching every day morning with my team. So every day morning, reach there at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10, we sketch. We sketch, nothing to do with the project. We only used to sketch for a learning phase of it, fun of it, doing some quick sketches exercise and a lot of other exercise. So that build nice environment in our team, and we started producing something very, very excellent. And that caught as an infectious energy in Complete Elephant at that time. So around 6 months, we continued that. The whole of Elephant started sitting with us. I think that's designer. Good part of it, working with Elephant was there were no late nights, great team to work with. So I realized how important it is to have good team to work with, and how important it is to become a good team player. So I was a very good team player. You know, I was not a designer who could do everything. Neither will ever become a designer who could do all kind of skills. But you need to understand what kind of skills you have and where you can contribute. And biggest thing I realized with Elephant was design is a way of thinking, and it's not a skill set. So there are certain hard skills you need to learn, so there are certain soft skills you need to. So design falls in that side of things. Moved from there, 2008, I learned paragliding. You know, I was part of IIT Kanpur. Also, I have a glider club. I don't know if it's still working or not. So I was part of that club, but because of certain unfortunate reason, I could only do around 13 or 14 flights of learning. So I could only fly the glider. I couldn't land it. So, and after that, the club got shut off and I couldn't continue that course. So that urge was still there. I haven't done the whole thing. So I joined something extra and then ran over a cliff and did my solo flights twice. I still want to go back and do it again. Then one more thing I did. See, Elephant Design given me a lot of time. I worked as an assistant cook in a restaurant for around 6 months. So 9 to 6 I used to work at Elephant, reach home, drop my bag. 6:30 I reach restaurant because restaurant cooking starts at 5:30. So I used to reach there at 6 o'clock and till 12, till 1. If Saturday, Sundays, then till 2, till 3 I used to wait back. Nothing. Huh? I was I wanted to learn cooking actually, and I wanted to see how restaurant works. Intuition, I wanted to do that. 2010, I left Elephant again. Somewhere I thought, okay, the amount of time I had at Elephant, I learned quite a lot, and there was nothing left to learn. There's always a feeling you get. So I thought, okay, let's start something new. And at the same time, there few people started asking me, would you like to do design for us? Then I said, okay, people are asking, let's start something. So I started this company called Design Life. A lot of thought process behind Design Life and the logo the way it is. Move on 2010, I became a design solo person who's started trying to run a company. Other opportunities open up. I became a part of IMRB group actually as a freelance researcher. It's also called freelance research moderator. So I was a researcher. I was good at research because of Elephant Design. Elephant allowed that research to happen in very good depth. And by the time I also became a very good photographer. So I forgot to tell you that the time I joined IIT Kanpur, I also picked up something called a camera with me. And from those 2 years, camera became an integral part of my life. So I've been shooting every day. At IIT Kanpur, I used to shoot literally 3 to 4 hours around per day. 300 to 400 images was my average. Something also is coming in life. So worked with IMRB as a research moderator. I used to conduct ethnographic studies, depth interviews, focus groups. I understood the power of communication, empathy towards others. I met people from very bottom of pyramid. I met people from very section A++ of societies who has bought BMWs at that time online and those kind of people. So I understood how to communicate with various status of people while doing all this. I conducted a lot of focus groups with them. So this stint also allowed me to obviously, you are starting a company, right? You need money. So it also helps. I also became a wedding photographer by that time. Photography, doing a lot of portraits. realized this is possible. And my roommate, who's Joseph Radhik, who's right now India's biggest wedding photographer, I started working with him very closely. And I shot weddings from 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Last wedding I shot in 2018 actually. Now I don't shoot it much, but I shot quite a lot actually. I went around. If I wouldn't have been designer, I would have shot Virushka's wedding or Priyanka's wedding on all those things possibly. But certain point of a time you have to decide what you need to do. So around 2013, I decided with Joseph, okay, you continue on this side, I'll continue on design side. So Joseph said, you have one way to go now. You decide, you want to work with me and make it Raj or continue with design life. I said, okay, I'll continue with design life because from 1998, my mind was fixated on something. So continued. So design, by the way, background design life is still going on. I'm just showing what else happened. 2014, I became a part of ISDI when ISDI was just starting in 2013. I started teaching there and new dimensions of my skill set, you call it, or passion, you call it. Or I realized teaching is a very beautiful way of learning. So for around 2 years, I taught various courses there. And then after that, I stopped it because design life was doing well. And this used to become a kind of activity which is going to stop my work. So same with wedding. Wedding also used to stop my lot of activities of design. So I stopped wedding as well. Same with this. So I said, okay, 2016, I called up, okay, I don't want to continue with this. But 2018, that urge came back. I'm missing something. I need to go back and teach. So I called up back. Amit was there, one of our colleagues again, one of our alumni, Amit Kundal, is part of ISDI team. So last year I started back with ISDI again. I hope I continue with them on a digital platform as well. And then at the same time, some part of design I used to work. This is one UPSV design. This is client's team. We won a design award in 2015 for that. That also gave me a lot of boost and to go ahead. So this is one of the best design award around in India at least. And I've been told that we could have won the complete design award for the year as well if the other product wouldn't have been from social impact category. So that way, then in 2017 we won one more design award, kind of India Design Mark. We took a welding machine and converted it into something very, very current world and very, very cost saving as well. So that happened. We designed the whole portfolio of welding machines with the client. 2019, I become also part of a visiting faculty for V School. I taught their materials technology and processes and design. And then 2020, I'm leaving it blank again. So I think because there's a COVID, there are a lot of things coming in, so I left it blank. So that was the first part of my journey as a designer while I'm exploring the side things around it. So we'll ask what happens at design life. So I'm going to show you what happens at design life very quickly again. Okay, so whatever I hope you all can see the screen, right? So there are a lot of tiles here. So all is the work of a design life from 2010 to somewhere around 2014, 15. So what we do are beautiful innovations, beautiful designs actually. So first job as industrial designer is to and always remains to make look things beautiful or acceptable or pleasurable or attractive. And the second part is to make it more usable, we convert into something innovations. So beautiful innovation. So what we do obviously some proprietary notes you can neglect. Okay, well, what happens with us? A client comes typically. So in next few slides, you will see questions and answer kind of a format. I'm not going to dwell into the whole projects because it's going to take a lot of time. So client comes and says, we have an idea for the world's most cost-effective point of sale system. This is how it works. They shown us. We want you to design this. And then you end up with something like this. So what we do, we convert something very intangible into something tangible. Same ways. So we also do a lot of internal stuff. Design alone doesn't happen if you don't do engineering, you don't do prototyping, and you don't make product productionable, particularly in our ecosystem of India. So that's some of the views of that. Next client comes, says we are India's oldest company in welding industry, but we are struggling with Chinese cheap products and high quality European and American products. Can we design our welding machines? We said yes. This is what we did. Obviously, we won an award for that. Because of that, we continued. We ended up designing all of these. They're all functioning right now. We're right now also designing a product with them. Very complex product, by the way. Can you design a smart shopping cart for my startup with a digital experience? This came in 2017 to us actually. Now Amazon is coming out with something on same lines. Good, I think I can think that shows that we think right. So we designed something like this. He wanted something which is possible as well as very futuristic looking. So we made a trolley in which you can drop anything it detects. So on feasibility level, it's possible. We also made a basic UI UX for the same thing. Obviously, we don't do UI UX. From day one, we have decided we are a design company. We'll do industrial design, product design, and everything with it. Very interesting project. Can you design a urinal for women? It can save a lot of water, used for flushing, can reduce queues in public spaces, and it is more hygienic because it's a urinal, right? Very challenging. Nothing like this exists. A lot of people, a lot of designers, a lot of companies that tried something like this in the last 100 years. We kind of took it as a challenge. It has become very nightmare actually to design something like this. Is what we ended up with. The actual product showed photos. Product is not yet in market kind of, so it is right now in that final production stages. Project will lasted 3 years with us, literally. Can you help us design a prosthetic hand for Indian market? For India market. This is what we ended up with. I'm showing you something which is prior to the final design. So understand. So our job was to convert something intangible into something tangible which can be sold. Next brief, we want to create a state-of-art laboratory infrastructure to compete with Germans and Americans. Remember, we need to patent the new design. Again, a lot of people would say, oh, is it an industrial design project? If something has to be designed, I get excited, right? And it is a physical thing, then I'll do it, most probably. My team would do it, definitely. This is what we ended up with. So this is the second demo lab we have designed. This is the kind of laboratories actually the current COVID vaccine is getting developed. Not exactly like this. The laboratory would be still a very simple one, but this is a similar kind of infrastructure we are doing. So we ended up with designing infrastructure, which was way ahead of Germans even, way ahead in terms of technology and the smartness, and got around 15 multiple family patents on something like this. So that's the power of design. Somebody came to us 3 years back. Can you help us visualize or make our construction business more efficient by saving time and labor? Obviously, conceptual output. This is what we ended up designing with. A lot of thought process has gone into it. This is an output at a concept level. Client comes to us from very well-known medical company, very large medical company. He could have actually executed a project with the medical company, but he knows it's how slow it is. So he tells us, okay, I need a design studio who's very fast and nimble and understand how to convert something something into a POC product. So he came to us with 2 powders. Take these 2 powders. Here you go. We have these 2 powders. Take a water from your office, put it into this. It generates oxygen. Now your job is to make this into a product. That's the kind of a brief we get to as a designer. This is what we ended up with. Now this is a time where this is what we ended up in 2017. The client moved on, raised the fund, and now the product is somewhere down the line in production now. But this is the first level of POC which you can demonstrate. Those powder and everything is inside now. As a designer, we have figured it out how to control that chemical reaction, how to control that gases, and then make it usable. A very small company, but a 30-year-old company expert in making stainless steel glass through which you drink water. We want to explore products in plastic. Can you help us design? We ended up with designing some very beautiful range of defense for them. It included obviously stainless steel, which is their core capabilities, and we tried to reduce as much of a plastic exposure as possible, molding cost and everything. So something like this. We want to enter a stationery business. So we want you to design a ballpoint pen for us. Very simple brief, very straightforward industrial design brief. You ended up something like this. In fact, I'm right now even writing with that pen, fortunate enough. We have prototype an idea for a smart bin. Can you help us develop it into manufacturable product? Develop something. We developed electronics for this. We developed the complete ecosystem for this product. We have a special QSR based business model. QSR means quick service restaurant. Can you help us prototype our kitchen on wheels with blueprints and certifications? A lot of extra work in that. We ended up designing, ended up finishing it, ended up fabricating the whole thing with all the infrastructure around it. This was a concept. This is what we ended up with. Still functioning, working after 3 years. Handed over the complete blueprint for them so that they can replicate if they wish to. This is how interior proposed versus interior actually got made. So this is what we've been doing at Design Life, and we do a certain way. We are creative but disciplined. Both are contradictory things. We'll come to this point. We work one project at a time. I learned it very hard way, but it's still difficult to do that. But we don't force a lot of projects at the same time. We try to make innovations a lot of time happen. We work with all our clients to see that we do it productionized, and finally, as the name says, Design Life, we try to make our clients happy. Happiness propagates through people, right? You might have seen those kind of videos. So this is what you do at Design Life. So this is what is our anthem is. We do good designs, it will be beautiful products that converts a great business and that converts to happy faces. Okay. So this is about me. This is about Design Life. I think I finished it very fast for most of it, but on time.
I think that was great. That was super. So I think that must be inspiring to a lot of students.
Yeah.
And I think we can open this to the students for asking questions through the chat box, and of
Yeah.
course to everybody who is here.
So I received 2 questions before this as well. One of the student, I think Shravan, asked how to think like a designer. Okay. And another student was saying, how do I transition myself from background of say engineering or architect, I'm coming into design. So very open-ended questions, obviously. So I'd like to quickly talk on that. Shravan, your name is Shravan. So one of the senses is Shravan, right? So best advice I can give you is that you need to open up all of your senses. In last 16 years of our life of education you have gone through, you have only listened to what your professor was saying. You only read what your books were talking. You never asked anybody why it is like that. You never asked why Pythagoras is this, why pi circle has a pi r square as a diameter area, or you never questioned anything in life. So that's our education system. Now it is a time for you to open up and start asking questions. So if you see my format presentation, everything was questioned. That was the only reason I did that. You need to start asking questions. That's the first important step of being a designer. You know what has happened? Our one side of a brain, it's very crooked theory. It's not a true theory. Because of our education system, only our logical side of brain has developed very healthily. A creative side or imaginative side of brain hasn't developed, is what I understand. Now it's a time for you, if you want to become a good designer, to open up your creative side and start exploring the world very curiously. That's the first step towards becoming a designer. So whatever you do, you need to ask, stop first, ask yourself why this. If somebody is explaining you something, ask why this. So that's the first step I'll tell you to become a good designer. And that same is applied to transitioning from being an engineer particularly to a designer. Because yesterday in my team as an architect, I asked her, was it difficult for you to transition into design? She said, no. We knew some of the fundamentals, that be open-minded. Okay, Prithvi Raj is asking, I'm curious on women's toilet project. Was the plan for 3 years or did it extend to that timeline? What is the customer dynamics during timeline? Because the lead experience, yes. Okay, that's one of the challenging task working in industrial design or any kind of design, because you get to work, there's a charm to it that you get to work very unheard of, unseen of a product or idea every next week or every next month. It's exciting, definitely, but it's also nightmarish to estimate time. It's nightmarish to understand the effort that can go into it. So definitely the project on women's toilet was very much out of sync of a commitment versus exact deliverables because of multiple factors involved. We have discussed that in depth with the client. So initial timeline was around 9 to 12 months and it got extended to literally 3 years. So I hope I answered your question.
Sure. It's fine to ask over video also, right? Or do we need to stick to the
Yeah,
chat?
fine.
Okay, cool.
You can ask like this as well, but I don't know how many of you will speak together.
Sure. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Thanks, Girish, for the wonderful presentation. I'm from Y16 pass out. Yeah, you did answer my question. I just wanted to understand. So, as the time extends, how did you manage with the client? Like, what kind of um, uh, repercussions or what we need to take care of?
You need to be very honest and straight forward to accept that there are unexpected delays here. Given that the kind of nature we have, we worked on a project even after delays because the kind of project it was, and we wanted to make it happen as well. That's the challenge of a designer. It's fine to show something on a concept, fine to make a sample prototype and all, but that's the challenge. Can you make it produce or prove it that this is possible? So we took it like a challenge. We brought it to a level which can be productionable right now. It is in the production now.
Great. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, Saurav Bhattacharya is saying, sir, how can we think for a new innovation if the functionality of the product is given? Okay, very simple answer to it. Technology moves on. Now technology is moving so fast that your old functions becomes completely obsolete because of a technology. So that is one of the way you can actually change the functionality of a product and bring in innovation. Because of a technology changes, a lot of materials also get evolved, a lot of processes also get evolved. Like look at 3D printing versus injection molding. The moment you say you want to shift from injection molding to 3D printing, you can address a lot of functionalities of a product. The product functions very differently and solves the problem earlier solved by injection molding in different way. So as an industrial designer, I'm a firm believer that you need to either push envelope of a technology or material or manufacturing process to make innovation happen. I hope Saurav given a partly answer to this. Okay, somebody AB is calling. So should we do benchmarking before starting design? It actually sometimes make you thinking biased. It's like think of a case prehistoric era around 5,000 years back. You are one of the human beings, and somewhere somebody comes to you and says that I want to move from point A to point B very fast, faster than I can run, because I want to hunt a cheetah now, not a easier, or I want to hunt somebody. So you will end up inventing something called wheel. Now, my honest opinion is that if somebody around 100 kilometers away has already invented a wheel, why do you want to spend time to invent wheel again? So it's better to learn from others' experiences than you dig a new hole, right? So that's my pragmatic approach on it. Initially, I also thought like you that bias ho jayega. You have seen others design. So that's how you learn, by the way. That's why I'm telling you something, because I learned something, right? And you are learning it because of me now. So it's a part of cycle. That's why I said when the product doesn't exist, the briefs are very challenging, very, very challenging, because women's urinal doesn't exist. To design that product, we had to fetch a book which was last printed in 1973 from US, and it took me around 14,000 rupees and transport or something around 3 months to get that book in my hand. It's by somebody called Alexander Kira, and I had to read the whole book, because in 1960s he did the complete study of toilet design and everything. It's coming from architecture side, but he did the complete study of it. Okay, somebody, hello sir. Through your PPT, I saw you have created a project in multiple domains. I don't see you any boundary to it like mechanical. Yes, it's more of a mix. I am also from mechanical engineering background. So how should I prepare myself to tackle problems from multiple disciplines? Yes. Okay, if you want to become a good designer, you need to respect and honor all the other disciplines and learn basics about it. There's no escape from it. You need to learn a bit of electronics, basics of it. You need to be able to talk with electronics engineer in easy language. You need to learn thermodynamics, whichever the field demands actually. If somebody asks you to develop something which is very new, then you have to learn that field, obviously, right? Because only design doesn't exist. It has to be engineered, right? So you need to be able to understand the engineering behind it. Ekta is asking, what is the role do you think design research will play in design industry in the future? I think it has already played a huge role actually. The whole user experience design, human-centered design, all those words are based on research actually. They stem from the thought process of researching deep understanding your user and then designing something for them. So it's like people sell it on the name of Einstein, but if you give me really difficult problem, I'll spend around 50 minutes of that to understand the problem, and then only I'll solve the problem in last 5 minutes, right? So that's the whole thought process. If the problem is so challenging, then there ought to be research which is deep enough. Okay. The word creativity is one of the most used word around design. You use this in your PPT as well. What is your definition of creativity and how would you continue on enhancing it? Okay. Okay. I learned creativity in a very bad way because while I was at Kanpur, I became over creative a lot of times. So what design does, creativity is something which is very imaginary and allows you to think very originally, novelly. But design brings something called boundaries to it. The moment you have constraint to creativity, you make some useful work out of it. So that's how I understand creativity. Creativity is like I could give a good classic example. I know at least 15 roads to reach my office from my everyday road. I'm that idiot. A lot of people call me, but I do that kind of things. That's being creative for no reasons. But at a certain moment, certain type of life, one of those 15 road might help you. So I ask questions, why this road every day? Isn't there any other road? So I try to force myself to think creatively. So that's being creative. A very simplest example I could give. I think if it fits your understanding, that'd be easier. Creativity is also very close to stupidity. So unbounded creativity is stupidity. So I think the questions would come directly on a voice will be also fine. Someone called D. Sengiri, sir, when is it that we should say it's enough? This is not working. Signs of I need to take a break and think laterally or different. Yes. It's something called zoom in, zoom out process. We have been trying it very hard to do it, but a lot of time when you are deep in a project, it's very difficult to realize you have reached the end of something. It's also your ego which stops you and listening to this or looking at this very pragmatically. So as a designer, you should always take a break and look at your activity or a process by detaching from itself. So that's very important part of your work. You need to be able to detach from your work. If you're too much attached, you will never realize this, you're going to fail. Even if you fail, you'll keep on doing the same thing again and again because you're so attached with it. You don't want to look at it from a different point of view. So I think that's one way you should do it. Make it a point that you go away from it, leave it for a while, and then come back and see it from a new lens, a new context. It's called zoom out. So the moment you do that, you realize, oh, okay, this is where you should stop. There has to be new ideas now. Okay.
So I wanted to ask.
Yeah, Ishan.
What is like the most unusual field that you have worked in, like through the lens of design?
Unusual field.
Yeah, unusual or unconventional or something like something you didn't expect coming from an engineering or design background.
I'll say my life. I'm not yet able to design it. It's so intuitive that it's very difficult to understand it. Rest through everything. I know I vouch by a process. My team vouch by a process. So throw anything at us, most probably we'll be able to crack it off. So that's how we look at it. I think I answered something. So that's why I look at Elon Musk. Could you think he could make a rocket in 2003? He still made it. He's a great designer, actually. We may not look at him from that point of view, but it's a very inspirational guy. He made a rocket on his own, literally. And in 2002, if somebody said, I want to make a rocket, people said, this guy's gone crazy, he's got nuts, he has the money, but he doesn't understand what he's doing. But he did it, right? That's the level of craziness you can go with the design. Okay, so there is another part to the presentation. I think it's mainly meant for the students. So I'll just quickly run them through. There'll be a lot of jargon coming in, but I think it's still important for them to understand how to proceed in this time. So I'll definitely try to put my 2 cents here and tell them how should you navigate in these times and how should you navigate through your course. We navigate it in a certain way. If somebody gives me an opportunity to come back at IIT Kanpur and learn design again, I'll definitely come back because I know there is a lot more to absorb. You have to be a sponge. If you want to do design, you have to be a sponge. Absorb everything possible and then extract the important out of it. Okay. A good GAN coming up, guys. So whoever wants to stay and look at GAN, so we'll be happy. I'll quickly run through the GAN again. So again, I made it based on those 2 questions. If I could have had more questions, I would have loved it. So there are a few advice words from my side. A lot of other alumni can keep on giving you a black screen. Transitioning into design, want to think like a designer, right? First slide is a blank screen. First and biggest advice I've been giving to people for ages is this: there is a life outside of this dumb black screen. We are the same guys who are making it. So get real, get out of it. That's the first simple example I'll tell you. Be open. Those coming from engineering backgrounds or people who wants to learn about design, be open and try new things and explore. That's the first advice. Being creative. If you are, it's difficult for you to understand what is being creative. Be open and try new things yourself. You'll start realizing there are a lot more possibilities than doing the same thing again and again. It can start with your hair at least. Be comfortable with your colleague. I told you, share, collaborate, and grow. That's one big advice, because when you start working with your colleague, a lot of people you think are very creative, and you start thinking that, oh man, that person is very creative. What can I do? You can't do anything. You are also creative. Let's understand that. Accept that he is a creative, but you are also similarly creative if you allow yourself to be creative. So it will only happen if you share with things with them, you collaborate with them, and grow with them. So be comfortable with your colleagues. Be serious about work. Been telling it for a lot of students and a lot of portfolios coming to us. People are not at all serious with their work a lot of time, and sorry to say, the current generation looks like getting more and lesser serious about it. I think so. Nothing to about demotivate you, but need to be serious about work. You have putting out something, make best of it. Don't bring in that chalta hai attitude, which you don't work for first 15 days or you don't work for first 30 days and last submission ka data hai ki last 10 din mein you'll do night outs and all and you'll try to finish it off. It happened with me as well. I accept it. We have done it. Don't repeat it. Like, if you want to do really serious work, be consistent with it from start to end. Learn hard and soft skills. Hard skills are something like CAD software skills, which I learned. Do sketching is one of the hard skills you keep on learning. You also need to learn soft skill, which is being a good team player, being a good collaborator, being a dependable person. Like if in a team you want to do something, you will be able to do something. One of the most important advice I'll give: be good at communication. If you have a problem, ask. Nobody's going to kill you for that. So ask. That's one of the soft skills. Be ready for criticism about your work. If you're going to produce a design work, people are going to criticize you. It's a kind of work somebody likes, somebody doesn't like. You need to be able to listen to both of them. We are not saying what your design lab has produced is the best. It is supposed to get criticized, and it's good to hear criticism. So this hasn't happened in your 16 years of education life. You only got criticized when you got less marks in your mark sheet. Otherwise, nobody ever criticized you actually. But in design, you might get criticized every now and then if you start sharing your work. Start getting hang of it. Start listening to your gut feeling. Again, a kind of thing which you need to start picking up. Intuition. You know what is happening again. To tell you very frankly, who all guys are actually know design. You know, we all. I tell a lot of my clients as well. We all know design. It's just that you don't practice this consciously. We as a designers practice this consciously, and you don't practice this consciously. That's the only difference in this. So don't feel like you don't know design. You know design. If you know how to cross a road, that's the shortest example of design I can give it to you. Obviously, road in Mumbai and road in Kanpur and road in Ahmedabad. If you can't cross road in Ahmedabad, you are great at it. So if you can cross the road, the whole process you do while crossing the road intuitively is actually steps of design, most probably if you start scrutinizing them. So you all know design. So start looking at design very consciously. That's what design school does actually. Be disciplined about your daily routine. This is very important in COVID times as well. If you are not disciplined, you are going to suffer later on. At least we had a place where we can work together and share things. You guys are going to work remotely. So be at your work every day. There's no shortcut to become a good designer. So be original. So somebody asked me, would I get biased? You do get biased, and sometimes when there is no time left in your work, chalta hai na, let's take that design from internet. You know, the moment that comes in, now you lost the whole virtue of being a good designer. Be original. If you don't produce something at the time of end of it, accept it. Ask for time, but don't copy. Last advice. Till date, you have been hearing, you forgot a lot of things. That's why you started mugging up things in all your college days and things. When you see visuals, you remember, you all know when you see a beautiful photograph, you remember it. Most important part of life is when you do it, you understand, you remember it. So that's design is all about. You do it, it will get in your brain. If you only listen what I'm saying all the time or what our alumni is saying, you'll never learn design, by the way. So this is just a part of series. This is not going to make a good designer. You have to start doing design. So go by Nike. If you are stuck, you have to just do it. There is no point in thinking. Somebody asked me if I stuck in a rut and I don't know what to do, zoom out and start doing it again. So I swear by Nike always. If you're stuck in somewhere, you can only get out of it by doing something about it. And it's also part of powerful habit. You must have listened to a lot of habit forming self-help kind of things, and they also say the same thing. You have to keep on doing it. So that's design is essentially about. Make all your senses alive. You'll learn design. You have to be good listener. You have to be good visually observing people. You have to be good at talking. You have to be able to express your ideas in minimum amount of word in the right way. You have to have develop your sense of smell, sense of touch. Particularly if you want to become an industrial designer, you have to develop a sense of touch to understand, to feel the product. So that's my thing. And there's a small last advice I think is there. So this is about me. I'm closing now with my name. This is how I developed myself. I started like an industrial designer. I understand myself like a futurist now. Just recently I understand I'm an inventor. There's a smallest part below. And it's by the time I become a very old, I think that smallest part needs to come most up. If you are a human being and a good human being, you'll become a good designer, and it applies to all professions in your life. That's my understanding of the world, right? COVID-19 challenge. Take it like a challenge. It was the same challenge I think we faced when we joined design program at Kanpur. We thought, oh, what is going to happen in unstructured times? Take it like a challenge. You can figure it out yourself as with your faculties how to learn in these times. So don't look at it like, okay, I'm not going to be able to go to college. I'm not able to go to school. How I'm going to learn design? Design is so much of doing things. No, it's not like that. This is a time for you to reinvent the way you're going to learn design. So try that. So there are a few more things. Last advice I'll give you. If you want to become an entrepreneur, most of the designers become an entrepreneur, invest right away. That's a money advice nobody will give you. So there's the best time if you want to invest in money 10 years down the line, you would be more than happy that I told you it today. Nobody told me when I was at design program in 2006 that Girish, invest your money. So if you invest your money today, which is in a market which is very down, 10 years down the line, you should be thankful to me and sending a small check of part of it. Okay. So this is about from me. Yes,
all right. Yeah, I think thanks, Girish. Thanks again for giving your 60 minutes. And I think, that one line or one gesture or one advice out of the thousands you gave will probably help everybody in life. And probably they will remember this as I do after 15 years. So I think that will happen to these people also. So I think we will carry forward this series next week also and the weeks to come. And we have another person for the next week itself. I think Mrityunjay is heading it and trying to do all the hard work with that. making posters at night at 3 o'clock and whatnot. So good luck, Mrityunjay. We will probably meet next week.
Yeah, of course. And next week, probably Adesh will be joining us from USA.
Nice.
And he's working as a director with UKG. So he will be sharing his insights about how future belongs to design. So he will be talking about what skill sets are required for Industry 4.0. So something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think probably we will gonna be doing a detailed discussion on this, and we will send more details on this prior to the actual talk.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Юля, थोड़ा क्वेश्चन छोड़ता है